Hey guys, welcome back. I want to talk a bit about communication today. Now, I know that sounds a little campy and cheesy. Everyone talks about communication. Actually, even saying that phrase is kind of strange, to be honest. What I really wanted to understand about communication is, what is it? We think we communicate every day with people. We talk to them, we engage with them, we present on subjects, or we engage with our customers, or whatever else. And while those are all pieces of what communication is, largely that's not all encompassing. And unfortunately, most people seem to think that if they can have a one-on-one conversation or a one-to-many conversation with somebody or a group of people, and those people respond or smile or what have you, that they're good communicators. And that's good. I'm glad those folks do that and you get comfortable with those scenarios. But that in and of itself is not good communication. Communication is a much bigger thing than that. It's more akin to the mix of how you build relationships with people, and largely it's about how you empathize, or rather whether you can empathize with other people. So what do I mean by that? Empathy is not sympathy, so let's get that off the table now. Empathy is more about building this human connection with someone else. And let me explain. What I mean is that if you can sit down and understand what drives another person, or as best as you can, understand what drives that person, from their struggles, their frustrations, what makes them happy, what gets them inspired. These are all the kind of the same qualities that build into good leaders as well. But it helps you create empathy. And what that means is you're actually building a connection with that other person. And I don't mean like crying when they have a problem or feeling always excited or whatever else when they're excited. It's more about understanding what makes them sad or what makes them happy. And I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but the point I'm trying to make is, if you can build and create empathy with another person or a group of people, you have a much better chance of actually being able to tell a story to them or talk to them in a way that actually resonates with them, and you'll build a relationship and a connection. And that's what that relationship, that empathy leads to a relationship. The relationship leads to stronger engagements between you and those people. Now, some of this comes from the perspective that I have of working in sales, in technology sales, and in a segment at my company where I spend a lot more time focusing on relationships with people. But that doesn't exclude anybody else in any other sort of industry or in personal life from doing this well and building strong relationships. Because at the end of the day, if you can build a strong relationship with other people, you will engage with them and have a longer lasting, I would say, happier life. That sounds a little kind of ecclesiastic, and I realize that, but I've noticed personally that it has really helped me when I spend more time working on how I'm engaging with other people, trying to understand what motivates them, what gets them excited, what gets them inspired, and do everything I can to actually help them do that and aid them in their own process. I end up feeling a lot better about myself and just my own, my internal self-consciousness that I generally have starts to minimize, because I realize that I'm actually helping somebody. And more importantly, they're being successful as a person or as a group. And that's very empowering. And it gets me excited about doing other things like that. So I'll call out a particular book that has been helpful for me in this learning process. It's by Alan Alda, the actor and comedian. It was called If I Understood You, Would I Have This Look on My Face? And it's a little silly and a little funny, but he spends a lot of time in this book not trying to teach and not trying to dictate, but trying to help us as the audience understand what he's been learning for the last 25, 30 years about empathy and connecting with other people and what that means. It's actually been really helpful for me, because I don't like necessarily being taught from books, but this book does aim to teach, but it doesn't aim to dictate. It's really more laying out information that you can pick up from and try to understand. And it's been very helpful because it gives examples of situations where, a simple miscommunication where somebody didn't quite say exactly what they meant led to the other person reading it completely wrong, and it took the relationship on a totally, bad path. And I've noticed that can happen really easily with anybody that you encounter. So working on that is hugely helpful, because it allows you to build stronger friendships, be stronger in your family relationships, and if you work in a professional setting, it builds those relationships internally at your organization, which can only be positive for everybody else. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll put some links below that might be more helpful for you as well, and if you have questions, let me know. Cheers.